Alright, respiratory. Hi, my name is Amy and I'm here today to give you an oxygen tank. So first thing I'm going to do is check your ID band, and then I'm going to wash my hands, and then I'll get the tank ready. Alright, so I'm just going to inform you just a little bit about this tank. That way you know the precautions of this tank. That way you're aware, and if any visitors come, then you can let them know as well what this tank to do around the tank. So outside I set out a postage of no smoking. Even though this is a non-flammable gas here, I do not want anybody smoking around it because the heat and anything that covers this area can cause combustion. It can cause injury to you or anybody that may be visiting you, or another nurse or anything like that. So here you can tell this is an oxygen tank because it has a green color. And then there's also a label on the side of the tank that says oxygen. That way you can know what you have and whenever you have it, okay? It always needs to stay in the safety cart, and it needs to stay beside your bedside and away from where children may knock it over, and make sure nobody's running around it or no children are gonna knock it over, okay? So with this oxygen tank, what I'm gonna do to prepare it, I'm gonna crack this cylinder. Now with this, it's just gonna make a little loud noise, but it's just gonna be quick, just that way there's no debris or anything that could be obstructing the opening. And then here we have a pin index safety system. So this here is what goes to the oxygen tank, and you can always tell by these pins that match the oxygen tank. And then you can check the O-ring there, the washer, just to make sure there's no cracks, anything like that in the washer. Alright, so once we have cracked it, we can go ahead and place it onto the oxygen tank. Tighten it up. Make sure it's always at 0 before you place it on. And then I'm going to open up this cylinder to its full capacity here. And then I will read it to see where it's at, and it's at 1,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate to see how long it's going to last. So you take 1,000 times 0.28 divided by the liter flow. So the liter flow today is going to be at 2, so then you would divide it by 2, and then that would be how long this tank is going to last. And when the tank gets down to 500, the patient needs to let us know, and we also need to check to make sure it's okay. And when it gets to 500, we need to change it. So when we are done, so always feel the flow before you place on a nasal cannula, thing like that. So we're going to shut this off once we are done with it, and then we will turn this tank off like this. And then before we remove this, we always need to remove the pressure out of the regulators. So we're going to turn it up until it gets to 0, and then we'll turn it back to 0. And then we can loosen it up. Place it over here in a safe area, and then we can put a protective cap over this, and always make sure the wrench is along with your tank. And then we can set it off to the side, and always push the cart away from you when you have an oxygen tank. Now with giving oxygen, you always want to have their before and after vital signs. That way we know to see if the oxygen is properly working. And sometimes we may need to do an ABG just to see where everything is at. And then I would go and chart on the patient's charts and let everybody know.